City Council wants to put that new sewer line in right over here. We're off Hingston Creek Road. That's just off Highway 63 in Vandiver. And you can see here there's a little overflow. Sarah, Angie, it is nasty out here. Let me tell you, the visibility is terrible. School officials in Kingdom City are reconsidering a dress code change related to cell phones. Angie, I'm actually here with Carl Edwards. He was driving down Highway 63, went to go try and pick up a friend from home down in Boone County, and he could not get her there. The battle for control of Libya rages on. You got to put on the hard hat here, and these linemen, they have to protect themselves. They have to wear sleeves that are here made out of rubber. I was driving through Holt Summit trying to find that murder scene when I ran into two very good friends of Jeffrey and Gina Wardehausen. Now, Jeffrey was murdered. Gina is injured in University Hospital. Those friends directed me to the murder scene at the Wardehausen's farm home off County Road 488. One of those friends also knows Alan and Jackie Panay. Now, the Panays were also murdered. The Panay's son knows one of these friends. He said that they were killed in their mobile home across town from the Wardehausens on Hartnut Road. I'll have the latest details coming up at 6. Reporting live in Callaway County, Olivia Wilmsen, KMU8 News. Adding more of these and making them wider, they're just two improvements for making drivers safer. If you ever find yourself distracted at the wheel, it's nice to know you have a few things to rely on. MoDOT has made some easy on the eyes improvements to roads.
I think it's a great thing, especially with, I've got a son who's going to be a teenager here very soon, so I worry about the amount of drivers and the amount of distractions that are out there.
MoDOT has added more rumble strips and made them wider.
We're using 6-inch pavement markings along the edges instead of the old 4-inch.
You wish it was sometimes a little bit further off the road, but on the other side of it, you don't want it to be so far off that people are drifting way out before they get noticed.
The Transportation Department also made some signs and lane stripes brighter and bigger too.
Anything that would help to save lives, is definitely a plus.
In 2005, Missouri had more than 400 lane departure deaths. By 2010, that number fell to fewer than 250.
I would hope they come up with more measures that would save lives.
And that's exactly what MoDOT plans to do. MoDOT also improved a few thousand miles of road for better visibility, but Curdy says the department covers 33,000 miles. It's got a long way to go. Reporting live in Boone County, Olivia Wilmsen, KMU8 News.
Find a triangle.
Maeve Rush is almost 3 years old.
Touch the crescent.
And she's learning her shapes on an iPad. Can you show me how to do it?
Yeah.
And her 5-year-old sister, Kaylin, already knows some parts of the brain.
They're young, but, they're kind of advanced regarding, the technological aspect with the internet, the iPad, my iPhone.
Girl.
On the computer, there's an endless possibility of games.
G.
We were introduced when Kaylin was about 2 to a website called Starfall. And so we started with her on the computer so she could learn her letters, her letter sounds, and then it started with her early reading. And she's just caught on.
Jackie Bassino is an infant toddler development instructor at MU.
Yeah, there has been an increase in video games and computer games, and electronic toys I think are always popular for infants and toddlers.
Even though some toddlers can use an iPad or other tablets,
I don't think it would last very long. I think the toddler's average attention span is quite short.
Some games talk back.
Say hi, Tom.
Hi, Bob. Hi, Tom.
Is that interactive enough?
It really doesn't replace the social influences human beings interacting.
The Columbia Public Library has 4 computers specifically designed for little tykes,
Jumpstart Preschool.
with 24 different games to test your skills.
I'm a computer preschooler. He can do as much on a computer as I can.
Another chance for toddlers to tackle technology.
Swimming.
At such an early age. The downside?
I once read that a little boy about 8 years of age didn't want to go outside because there weren't any outlets. And so I think that children need to still be introduced to nature because they say that you don't care about what you don't know about.
And then there's the issue of what your child will find on the web.
I just always make sure, regardless that I'm in the room with them when they are on the computer and then the iPad, we don't let them get onto the internet and they don't know how to buy applications.
If technology uses educational programs, then it can support a greater cause. But I think that the balance of entertainment and stimulation is important to be mindful of.
Compared to the other end of the age spectrum,
my parents aren't senior citizens yet, but they're older, and they will ask Kaylin and Maeve for help if they, are stuck or if they need iTunes open or updated. I do have television off time, computer off time, iPad off time, so they can use their brains and, their imagination and go outside.
Whether these tots are toying with the iPad or mousing around on the web, as Bassino says, parents need to remember it's a balancing act on the learning curve. Olivia Wilmsen, KMU8 News, Columbia. Founded in the 1830s, the original MU campus never had any notion of accessibility, and many of the original buildings are still here.
I think the general access, just getting in several buildings, was a big issue here.
Jim DeJong works for the Great Plains ADA Center in Columbia. He remembers Faroe Field before renovations created easier access.
Yeah, you can get in, but sit under the scoreboard.
High school-aged Chuck Graham came to Mizzou for a college visit in 1987.
When I did my campus visit, the attitude was, well, if you come here, we'll deal with your problems. And I didn't see the fact that they didn't have a ramp into a building or only 2 accessible dorm rooms as my problem. I saw that as their problem.
Graham chose the University of Illinois instead.
Just the difference in how welcoming they were to students with disabilities was huge. And that's a big part of why I ended up going to Illinois.
Amy Weirmeyer has muscular dystrophy. When she came to MU in 1989, the school had a disability services coordinator who also has muscular dystrophy and uses a wheelchair.
It was neat to see someone who was working professionally, who had a disability, and who had graduated with a master's degree from Mizzou.
Weirmeyer instantly felt drawn to Mizzou.
I have a really significant disability, and so even being 2 hours away from home was a huge sort of step toward independence.
Weirmeyer says the university has come a long way since then, but...
And then I would have to back in. Not accessible at all.
Most of the university buildings are quite old, but Jesse Hall is one of the oldest and most historic. Yet the only way to access its main entrance is by using these stairs, an option the disabled community simply doesn't have.
Many times, for certain events, they lock the doors downstairs. And so you get downstairs and you can't get in and there's no one to call. And then you got to find somebody to walk up the stairs to get in.
When the ADA passed in 1992, universities had 3 years to fix their campuses. Missouri spent $10 million on renovations.
There were certain things that we wanted to do, but essentially we had to cut those because of budget concerns. And those are things that we've tried to pick up over the years, and a lot of them have occurred since that point in time.
But the ADA does not require every room and office to be reachable for the handicapped.
If I were a student and I had a need to meet with a faculty member and the faculty member's office wasn't accessible, we could still have the meeting, we just wouldn't have it in the faculty member's office.
DeJong says athletic facilities make MU look like a top campus for accessibility. At Mizzou Arena,
you've got a gentle incline right up to the building now, and it's good for everybody. And so I give them a lot of credit that they were open to that advice, and they implemented it.
Graham says MU has made progress.
I'd say it's one of the most accessible campuses now that it has a wheelchair athletic program.
Campus Facilities has a list of 30 buildings that still need updating.
As the budget allows, these buildings are being fully renovated, and what happens at that point typically is we make sure we have a main entrance that is an accessible entrance.
They're still getting their arms around, if you will, the idea of universal design.
It's a complex issue when you've got a lot of existing utilities and existing grades that you have to deal with, but it's an ongoing process.
And it's a process that will keep rolling until everyone who wants to can get around Mizzou. Olivia Wilmsen, KMU8 News, Columbia.